everyone. This is Erin Ashley Simon.
This is Brandon Killabh Hall.
Welcome to another episode of Grassroots Podcast. Today, we have a special guest here, Manolo Rose, rapper, entertainer, everything.
Strip
club aficionado.
Came in with the fire leather on and shit.
I know, looking like it came from a Martin show.
Yo, that's literally
Martin Pellet.
Yeah, that's what I thought of. That's the first thing I thought of. I was like, yo, that looks like the vintage Martin fucking jacket.
Definitely is.
Yeah, I may have to borrow that Manolo. I ain't gonna lie. So talk to us. What's going on with you? You know, just following you for quite some time. You're pretty much everywhere. Like, you're really well versed from business to rap, just everything. So let's start, I guess, where did that start to come into play for you?
Oh, well, we talk about the business aspect. I think once we kind of like really got into the music, you know what I'm saying, it just kind of made sense. I think the first thing I did was like when they was just starting to allow the dispensaries to come to New York, I was like, maybe like out of a few people that actually get a. See, they wouldn't give me the dispensary license, but what they gave me was like the housing. I could be able to house and stuff like this. That was the first thing I tried, and it worked. And I was like, oh shit, I mean, getting to something else after that, you know.
Wait, so you were okay? So you didn't have the dispensary, but you would have like the warehouse.
Yeah, I could house it. Yeah.
So where were you?
House it. I could house and sell. So really, I'm just really waiting for them to officially make it a thing where the recreational usage.
Yeah.
Is then I'm gonna go from right there. But I already got it now, so
okay.
I got the license and all that type of shit.
So are you like specifically with your warehouse, are you working with a grower or like a retailer? Because there's certain retailers are getting involved in it.
Crazy. I don't even know what I want to do with it yet. I don't know if I want to do it that way or just, you know, I really don't know. It was so early, and right now it's still in its early stages because it's like you can have like the oils and things like that, but you can't have the actual weed right now as we speak. Yeah. So I'm just waiting for things. So I'm just hoping.
So you're waiting for it to progress a little bit.
Yeah, to see once I start to see where it's going, then I know where I'm gonna put myself into. But I probably most definitely gonna get with a grower, probably grow my own strand, stuff like that. Yeah.
Now, talk to us a little bit about what it takes to even get into legalization, selling of marijuana, and just that process.
It was like, all right, so if you remember, like maybe like 2-3 years back when they started to allow the dispensary started opening here. Yeah, it was pretty easy. It was just like you wrote. It was like a letter you wrote, and then you send it off, and then it's like a toss in the air whether they give it to you or not. But I just think that with the dispensary part, they knew who they were going to get that joint to already. That was already a given. Whoever signed that in, put his man there.
And that's I was about to say that's the early plug once that comes through.
Once it comes through. So it was pretty easy. I did that, and the joint worked.
That's crazy.
And I was like, oh shit, this shit really works.
They really approved this shit.
Especially here in New York. What?
Took a swing. You know what I mean? I took a swing. You know what I'm saying?
So how do you plan to kind of differentiate yourselves from like the other artists that are getting to game? Because we talked to Meth and we talked to Redman about it, and they were saying that, you know, obviously with those two, like they understand the marijuana game immensely, but they were saying that some rappers would get into the game not fully understanding it or not carving their own lane aside from like having their own strains or anything like that. What do you plan on doing to kind of like set yourself out to a different path?
Well, really, see, so what I'm kind of like really working on and is really acquiring that information and knowledge in regards to how to do so, in the sense of like, you know, like you said, right, just besides having your own strand and all of that type of thing, right? But then just seeing how is it going to be marketed and things like that. So I'm just kind of figuring that part out, because I'm not even like, my thing is, it's not even about weed itself. I don't care about weed. Like, this is a business thing, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to figuring all of those things out, and how I'm even going to separate myself from others. But I do know this: when you have celebrity and celebrity friends, you can separate yourself from anybody. Snoop Dogg is selling hair products, and I ain't never seen his hair fall out before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, hair restoration. Man got dreads. You know what I'm saying? So you can sell anything. You know what I mean? So we just figuring all that part out now as we're going through it, though.
Oh, so you kind of got into this almost like stock. Like you just saw something that was open and just said, fuck it, let me do it.
Listen, I understand something, you know what I'm saying? And it's about money. This country is about money. This is how this joint work. So it's like, I mean, you might be mad, like, oh, he don't smoke weed.
Yeah.
Shit. The dude from McDonald's probably eat burgers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts.
That's very true. That's very true.
So
And shit, you should never get high off your own supply.
Never. That's the first
Big
rule.
taught us that. I was about to say, Big taught us that a while ago, so I don't really think that that's what's supposed to happen.
Right.
But now, like, all right, so let's talk a little bit of music. How is that now? Because you're still very active in music.
Right.
So how does that come into play with juggling a real business venture of that sort and then also juggling music?
The music is easy. You know, that's the easy part. That's the part that just comes natural.
Okay.
Everything else is like you're trying to figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's something. Music is something I just can do. So me having the ability to just go in the studio, I could record for 15 songs in a day, right?
Yeah.
So say I could record 15 songs in a day, and I could just chill, and everything else is like.
Yeah.
From there on in, I could do that. It's simple.
Yeah.
So wait.
Music is easy.
So how many like revenue streams are you trying to build up? Because music is not as profitable in certain positions that it used to be. So like, are you trying to, obviously you still do your music, but like what other revenue streams are you trying to build up so that you can still keep the music lane going?
I just got with these investors for a clothing brand where I have access to every warehouse and and factory in China and stuff like that. They got, you know what I'm saying? So we doing that as well. Yeah. So
it's that, then
we
marijuana.
have that, marijuana, we doing that as well. And we just trying to look. It's some other shit I don't want to mention it because I don't want the idea to be stolen.
Yeah.
It's something crazy though, with like pets and shit like that. Pets.
Pets?
Wait,
are you a big dog fan?
No, I am. I know I'm a dog guy, but. We'll talk about it. I mentioned it.
I was about to say. I hope you ain't about to say medical fucking marijuana.
Weed biscuits.
Yeah, I'm about to say I'm all for just growing shit. But I mean, damn.
When I tell you, you're gonna be like, oh, that's crazy. Watch, you'll get it though.
Well, I want to hear it.
Right. Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to get into, because you're very active in the community, as far as like political stances and stuff like that. What are the climate of things? How do you feel in that regard?
I think we have to really understand that the way things are today is how they were yesterday. It doesn't matter who's in office, to be honest with you, right? Because the same homeless guy I saw with Barack is the same homeless guy I seen with Trump. He's still there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't really make a difference as to who's there. I think it's a thing of learning. One thing we have to do is learn how does the game operate in order to play. Because because a lot of us are saying things like, well, I don't like Trump, right? So he's not my president. I'm not going to meet with him. I don't want to sit with him. Okay, but if he's there for the 4 years and say you are able to get some type of government funding for your community that's doing bad from Trump, you don't want the money? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Would you say that's just it's stupidity to me?
All right, so one could say,
You know what I mean?
let's play devil's advocate, right? If that's your stance, not saying that that's your stance, but let's say that's the stance, right? How is that person supposed to feel, the one that is against it, when you see all of these racist, anti-Semitic things that Trump alludes to? Because you can't really.
What president wasn't racist to an extent of like, you tell me what president cared about minorities. Tell me one.
I can throw out the cheat code and say Obama.
He did?
Yeah, I could throw out the cheat code. And say
all right.
that.
So give me some examples of.
The unemployment rate is the lowest. It's at its all-time low. So he has done that. I mean, all politicians are imperfect, and of course, Obama didn't enact he didn't get everything done because also remember the House and the Senate was more Republican.
It's always been like that though. It's always the pull and tug, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now if you're a person like myself, we're not in those rooms, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we do?
Yeah.
So we just say, well, I'm gonna just sit back, relax for the 4 years, and hopefully we'll vote right now, and hopefully we can get the Democratic Party, and when the presidency is up, we can try to vote the guy out.
Yeah,
That's a, you know. We can't not be proactive just because who's in office. And I don't care about no Trump. I don't care about the next president. It's about what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What are we gonna do?
So speaking of what we're gonna do, like what should artists do better, or just celebrities in general do better? Because look, you had Beyonce, she had a Beto hat, right? She posted that like literally the day before. You had LeBron pushing, you had several other people, but like it's coming to a point where the whole advocacy for celebrities when it comes to politicians, it's not having the same effect as it did with Obama anymore. Yeah. So like what's the next thing?
I think we're just in a different climate now, right? Because you have the social media aspect where it's like people literally believe that they're your real friend on there.
Yeah.
So it's like that's not even having the same effect anymore, right? Because you have to look at it from the standpoint of like being that that's dwindled, then what is next? You do something like LeBron is doing. You try to get to school, you know, because these are things that's going to actually work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because really, in all honesty, like I said, like in our communities, we need help, right? Actual help. And it's going to take for people to really come together, put their money together, and literally do something. Because you can tell me every day, like, go vote for so-and-so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all right, then after that, then what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's kind of how it's been lately. It's like you voted, and then what? Okay, we voted.
Yeah.
I think we had Obama there for the 8 years or whatever. And I feel like we were more happy for him winning that we forgot that he was the president.
Yeah.
And we had all of this access to him, but who went to speak to him on behalf? So it's like, so what I'm saying, even what I said earlier in regards to Obama, I'm not even blaming him.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't go ask for nothing, then you ain't got to give him nothing.
Yeah, I get it.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what we did. We was happy. We were excited. We said, it was a black man. He's in office. This is the most joyous moment there was. But who went to ask for anything to actually get things done, you know?
Yeah.
That's what's crazy. And it's like now that he's not there, we're angry and we're still not asking. So 4 years going to go up. The next person to come in, or whether this dude wins again, are we going to ask then? Or are we going to say, well, we just wait for 8 more years to go by and wait them out?
I think a lot of it is, like you said before, it's kind of reachability, right? So even with any president, it's hard to just call up someone and just say, hey, I want to meet with the president. Now,
so you're right, 100% right? But you have your borough presidents. And things like that. These are the people you start to lean on. You start to lean on the little guys that's gonna reach, you know, because I might not have that access, but I feel like we don't fund any campaigns either.
Yeah.
That's another thing too. We have a real issue going on here. Like, we don't understand how the game works, and that's what I meant. You know what I'm saying? Like, where I live at, right? It's a lot of Jews in my area. I never saw a Jew at the voting booth.
Yeah.
Never. Because they voting in the synagogues, right? They doing it privately. Why? Because someone went to them and spoke to them. They asked for something. They got it. They paid. That man know them votes is coming my way. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. That's why when the thing came out about in New York where they were saying like they had the Section 8 almost a year in advance before it got to everyone else. And they was like, how did they get out of this?
Yeah.
This is an outrage. No, they paid someone.
They paid someone. Yeah, they paid someone.
And they building buildings, right? They putting all of their people in. Section 8 is already given. So everybody's rent is paid. My whole building.
Yeah.
It's not like we can't do it. We can do the same thing. But we don't know how to play the game. We'd rather walk around and cry.
Yeah.
You just got to start acting or start learning how to do and stop crying.
Do you think it's also, do you also feel like we're in a time where we are trying to bank so much on celebrities handling things for us instead of us handling it ourselves or within our own respective communities?
I definitely believe that we are at that point, but it's a bigger thing, you know, because like the same thing. What was Martin Luther King asking for? Housing,
jobs and housing.
This is 2018. What are we asking for? Housing,
Same thing.
and
Yeah,
jobs.
same thing.
It's like, wait, we didn't learn yet?
Yeah.
The man died at 68. We didn't learn. We didn't start to say, okay, all right, we got to start doing something else here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that now, the celebrity aspect that you're speaking on, I think it turned into, it's fashionable. You know what I mean? Being politically aware now is a goddamn fashion show now.
I like
know?
that point.
Yeah.
I like that.
You know
point.
what I mean? Because you got people now. You say, okay, dude told me, he's going on there. He's talking all these politics and all these things, and you ask him about any of the people you told me to vote. All these celebrities, right?
Yeah.
All right, go vote for such and such. Let's get out there so we can try to get Trump out. And you ask them about the people policies, and they know nothing. Mm-hmm. So it's like, damn, you didn't read nothing.
Yeah.
You just,
Yeah.
you
You
just
just
telling
did
me
it.
this for.
You went
Yeah.
and did it.
You just saying this, so it's cool. It's
Yeah.
like it's a cool thing now. It's like it's despicable. But when you
Yeah.
think about it, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like the shit is just it's a shirt. Shit is the new Louis bag. You know, you know what I mean?
I never looked at it like that, but when now
Louis bag.
when you say that, I can look at so many different
Come on.
like celebrities out there now that are more. But this is my thing: is it more fashion or is it we're more socially and consciously aware because of the situation we're in now politically? Because that's the other thing too. You got to factor in. A lot of people now are voting and being way more active than they once were before, just
True
because
indeed.
of who's in office and all of the negative that they're seeing.
See, but this is what I'm saying. To vote aimlessly is just as bad as not voting.
Meaning voting ignorant.
Right.
Yeah.
Just
I
aimlessly.
get
You don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is I just want the man out. Well, this dude could be even worse.
Yeah.
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 You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did you dig into him? No, I didn't. I don't care. I just
Yeah.
Cardi B told me to vote yesterday, so I'm up here.
Yeah.
I'm voting. So I think we are becoming more politically aware, definitely. But I don't think I think that's more because everything is accessible now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like it ain't more cop killings. It's the same thing. It just now it's on your phone.
Publicized. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can watch the video of a dude actually getting murdered, but people been getting murdered prior to this. I know a dude from, you know what I mean, from Far Rockaway. He's a paraplegic now, right? In a wheelchair or whatever. And I remember when he was running from the police, ran to the roof, and they said he jumped off.
Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, hold on.
A friend of mine, this is before social media, he ran to the roof, running from the police, and they said he jumped off a 9-story building. He happened to live.
Yeah.
Was he high?
No.
Was he drunk?
He was running from the police. He ran up to the roof, and the police said he jumped off. And what fool gonna jump off a goddamn 9-floor building?
Well,
he know damn well he ain't gonna survive.
Yeah,
man.
I'm confused.
Come on.
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. This been going on. This is not new. This is old. I just think that now we're seeing it so much.
Yeah.
And I think to some degree now, seeing it so much has made us desensitized to it. Do we even really care anymore? It just, when you see it now, it's like, damn.
Well, that's the thing.
messed up.
I was telling somebody.
And niggas go on like about their day. It's just.
And I was telling somebody the other night that there's so much negative shit on the news, and I'm talking about killings. I'm talking about even with the boy getting lynched.
Right.
Just all these things.
Right.
It's almost becoming a norm, at least for me, where I see
Yeah,
it.
seeing dead bodies on social
yeah,
media.
I'm not
Yeah.
shocked anymore. I'm
No.
not taken back like, yo,
No.
this shit is
Yeah.
crazy.
No.
That's a scary place to be in.
Yes, it is.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Extremely.
Like, is it just me? Like, I'm sitting here like, I shouldn't be okay or used to seeing this on the TV. Like,
Exactly.
there's another one, but that's just
Right.
it.
and that's exactly what I'm saying. And that's what's creating that. That's what's creating what I say is a fake awareness.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing it so much. You have so many people say, "Oh, this is messed up." But see, the thing is, these people aren't even really into the politics. They're not into these things. But they're seeing it. They're saying it's messed up and wrong. but that's the only thing they're gonna ever do is say it's best to move
Yeah.
on. Because they was never into that anyway, you know? It's like, you know, it's like, I talk about this all the time, but people talk about things now that, you know, we got YouTube scholars now. You know what I'm saying? People are just sitting on YouTube, they watching videos and walking out, spewing this information, never vetted the information, never went and checked it out, never read the book the man said he got it from, never vetted no sources. And nigga just somebody a scholar now. He walking around here saying scholar. Everybody's a scholar. Everybody's aware. Like, come on, man. I think it's kind of, it's sad in a sense to me. It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
No, it definitely is. I feel like it's weird because like we're in a period of time where information is so accessible, but at the same time, it's now like you have fake news, you have all these different things, and you never know what is what. So that's definitely, you know, it's hopefully there'll be some change or some progress that comes from it, but it's gonna take. So. I feel like honestly, it's gonna get to a point where it's gonna take like one or a group of people to really get certain things going. But I want to kind of move the direction of the conversation. So, correct me if I'm wrong. I was told that you have some beliefs within the 5% Nation.
Right. Yeah.
Can you talk to me a little bit about that, and then also about the influence that you believe that it's had on hip hop?
Well, okay. So, just speaking on the 5%, you know, it's a the ordination of gods and nerves, as they would say. It's about believing pretty much that the universal creator is manifested inside of your own self, right? And the reason why we say that, for instance, I'll give you an example. If we say that God created human beings, right, man, and can God create something other than his own self?
Is that like rhetorical?
No, that's a real question.
I don't know how to answer it.
Because can a human being create something other than his own self?
Can a human being create something other than himself?
What?
Yeah, I would say.
How? Even this computer, what is this based on?
Technology.
But what is it based on? The brain. A camera is based on your eye. Right? So even it being that, it's still from the mind of a human being. He can't go outside of that realm because that's what it is. So the same thing with God. God can't make nothing less than his own self. He has to blow his own breath into you to create what? A living soul, as they say. Right? And that soul has to be an essence from God. That's God's own essence inside of you. Right? That's why when it says that, so we have a saying where it's like if you want help, it's at the opposite end of your own arms. You understand what I'm saying? So that's on you. Now, so that's a law. Try to condense something down to a few sentences. The influence it had on hip hop is tremendous. You know, I think we don't even realize it. Like the b-boy stance of standing like this with the arms crossed, that comes from the 5% Nation. Yeah. You know, if you listen to all the word is born, as they say, you know, that comes from the 5% Nation, you know. That comes from out of 120 lessons from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the questions that was, he answered questions that was asked to him by Master Farad Muhammad. And then you also have, like, if you listen to, even if you listen to, like, Raekwon's first album, you know, he has this song, Knowledge God, and it's like, well, what's today's mathematics, son? Knowledge God. You know, so you have those aspects. Or saying somebody say, yo, do the knowledge. That's all 5%. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's the influence it has had on the game. You got everybody now running around calling themselves God. Like, I'm this God. They don't even get why they saying that. They don't even know why they saying it, but that also comes from the 5% Nation.
Oh.
That's interesting. Now, how does that affect you musically? Because obviously it's
really, no, honestly, I try to. It affects me a lot because it affects a lot of things on how I view and see things, on how I want things, which things to be. But I try to, like, to some degree, stay in the middle because I hate preachy. I don't want to be preachy to no one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Even myself, I don't like, you know, just sitting there, you know, just keep going through stuff like that. Yeah. So it definitely affects it on certain things. It's a lot of music that I have that's geared toward that's not even like out there, that I haven't put out yet. Or certain freestyles I did, I started to drop certain things inside of it. So it's all, and then to get back to it, it's all based on principles. So let's say, for instance, today's date is what? What's today's date? The
17th?
18th,
right? So it has a non-principle based thing. So you have 1 is knowledge, 2 is wisdom, 3 is understanding, 4 is culture, 5 is power, 6 is equality, 7 is God, 8 is build or destroy, and 9 is born, and 10 is cipher. So if today is the 18th, today would be knowledge, build, or destroy.
Gotcha.
And it's like, how would you do that? Now, the knowledge is also always the base and the foundation of all things in existence, right? And you building, you want to, when you mention to build, you want to build up all positivity, and what you want to destroy is all negativity. That's around. So that's what it comes down, those principles.
Now, it seems like just that it's such a strict religion or belief, I'll say. Have you ever done something outside of, let's say, music or anything where you've gotten in trouble with them?
No, because it's not a religion at all.
Yeah,
it's not a religion at all. It's a way of life.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, it's about man has to learn to govern himself. It's about man governing himself. It's about, and when I say man, I mean in mankind, governing themselves, right? So it's not even like a religious thing. So it's nothing I can't do in the sense of like, yo, I can't do that because, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's not like that. So it's never been a time where I did things and people felt like, you know, you might have somebody to say like, oh, you know, we shouldn't be doing that. You know? That comes with it.
That's what I'm saying.
That
like,
comes with everything, I guess.
I look at it just like churches, like, and things like that, where you can go to a church where it'll be like the traditional church where they don't want you to dress a certain way or behave a certain way or look a certain way, and then you have those other churches that are more not non-traditional, where they're just open to just you being
so
there.
in this nation, it's not like that.
Okay.
It's not like, you know, like somebody see you with a shirt and go, you shouldn't wear that shirt. Nothing like that.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with nothing like that.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, it's about you governing your own self. So the shirt you want to wear, that's the shirt you want to wear.
Gotcha.
Now that don't mean I'm gonna be the dude wearing it too. I don't want to wear that.
Yeah.
It's on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty much like that.
So I don't know how much you want to touch on this or how much you want to talk about it, but I do know that there's a lyric in a freestyle you have with French Montana that, you know, caused a little bit of a little riff with the Nation of Islam.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know how much you want to speak on that, but
well, it was something, you know what I mean, that I said about Farrakhan, and I said what did I say? Oh, I said Farrakhan killed Malcolm. How can he lead us? And so we had like a thing.
Damn.
You know, we had a whole thing. We had to sit down though, but I've later came out, you know, even apologized to Farrakhan, to the Nation of Islam as well, because just due to the fact that when I said it, see, I was so much of a Malcolm X fan, right? That I was just like, I was more angry, period. Right, just growing up as a kid, and that's what I was told, and that's how
it stuck with you.
Right, and that's how it was promoted and pushed. But later, after I said that, you know, I sat with them, and we, you know, I'm reading handwritten letters from Malcolm to Elijah, trying to get back into the nation. You know, he was trying to get back into the Nation of Islam. Also, I started to really start to delve deep into his assassination, and I realized it wasn't the Nation of Islam at all, and it's not even a
question.
It's not a question.
So I don't even know if you can reveal that, but why are you so confident? Because even me growing up, I'm not that old, but I mean that was always the big elephant in the room.
Yeah,
was that hey. It's alleged that they were involved. It was never confirmed. Then they looked at it from being the government. So
to give a brief thing. All right, so I never mentioned this either, but that's funny. We're having this conversation. All right, so one, you have his security team. Some of them were FBI and some of them were police officers. The dude Eugene Roberts was a cop. He's a cop, and he was a part of Malcolm's security. Okay, They wasn't. He said that he saw the assassination rehearsal. So he said he saw himself with his own eyes. He said he went to the police department and told them, like, yo, this is what they're trying, this is what they're gonna do. Now, have you seen that? Now, Malcolm doesn't know he's a cop. He's an undercover cop. He's an agent, right? Okay. Now, if you seen that and you said, well, I went to them and I saw them basically practicing it out. When we coming now, we coming into the Audubon ballroom, people are coming in, but no one's getting searched. Does that make sense to you? Like, why now? You saying you seen them trying it, so you knew, like, somebody's gonna come in here with some guns. Yeah. I'm on the security team. I'm gonna search, right? Because I'm saying I don't want the man to die. Whether I'm faking in here and being a undercover agent or not. Yeah. I don't want the man to die. Yeah. So let's search. Nah, they said no, don't search. Okay. So I'm just like, all right. Then you don't go to Malcolm and tell him, listen, this is what I saw.
Well, that was gonna be my next question. Yeah. Right? Why wouldn't they go tell him that though?
Right. See? Okay. Then you see that the people who was making decisions and high-ranking officials in the Nation of Islam at the time, some of them were FBI agents, and they were making decisions there. Okay. Then the two other people who got locked up with one of the actual killers, because 3 people went to jail for it. 2 of the people weren't even there. 2 people that went to jail, they weren't even there. They went and got them from their house and locked them up. But if you watch the movie, it looked like they caught them
right then and there.
That's not how it happened. So the dude Khalil Islam, who just came home, well, he came home a few years ago. Everyone there that was in part of Malcolm's detail security said he was never there. At the time, his name was Norman Butler, 13X. But they were like, he wasn't there because they knew them. They was in the Nation for so long. They were friends. So they like, he never even was there. He got locked up for that. A dude named, so Malcolm made a connection with some people in South Africa at the time. And this is when they was actually doing apartheid, and they were trying to get the apartheid ended. And also he was trying to connect the African Americans, or whatever you want to call them, to the people in Africa, right? So he had a friend of his named Pinto, who was a Indian, but he was a heavy advocate, and they were going to the UN at this time, and they was trying to take our issue to the World Court to try to
arguing in a bigger platform.
So when they seen that connection, okay, Malcolm got killed. 3 to 4 days later, his man got killed too. They both got assassinated 4 days apart from each other.
Okay.
So see, so when you start to really get into it and dissecting it and sciencing it up, you understand. And then you see later on the J. Edgar Hoover reports come out and says that you was trying to stop the rise of a black messiah. It says why they didn't want, and they named Malcolm specifically as being that person. They said why they didn't kill Elijah because they say he was old. Yeah. So it was like, he's gonna die off. We don't care. Yeah. But Malcolm, he's young, fiery, and people
are taken to him.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So even if you watch, Martin Luther King got killed right after the moment he started to speak out on world issues. See, now once he started attacking, why are we going to Vietnam? When he started to go there and it stopped just being about what's going on
fucking
in Birmingham,
up the church's money.
It's okay. This is you doing? You trying to do what he was doing?
Yeah.
You out of here too.
Well, it's also he was fucking up the plans for Vietnam.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You fucking up the church's money. You fucking up a big plan to make some money with no real reason or backing, but you're fucking it up, so you got to go.
So when you when you start to get into it, you see
that makes a little bit more sense.
Oh, they ain't kill him. You see, it's like, oh, shit was obvious.
Yeah.
And you understand why. I understand why they killed him too. You know, if I was them, I probably killed them myself. If I was them, because why would I? You know, nobody's gonna fork over power.
Yeah.
No one. Right. It's just silly for me to even believe that. I'm just gonna say, oh, well, I don't want the power no more.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on the top of the totem pole. I don't want to get paid the most at the job. Like, who says that? Nobody's gonna say that. It's not realistic.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, so we sat down with one of the top students, Wesley Muhammad, who, you know, we call True Islam as well. We sat down with him and we got to see these letters and got to see how you know, Malcolm was really trying to come back in. He was apologizing to Elijah because he was lied to by Elijah's son. Elijah's son told him something about the women, and he lied. He knew he was lying.
Yeah.
His son was kicked out of the nation, and then, you know, he came back in and then converted it over to Orthodox Islam after that. Started taking money from Arabs and shit. Like, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a dope deep dive.
Yeah, I ain't
like,
gonna lie.
That was a dope dive.
Cause I was sitting here, I'm still, you know what I'm saying? Like growing up, you always thought that they might have had something to do with it. Cause conspiracy theories and just ignorant of just all of that type of information.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody really knows that much in depth.
No, they, you know,
the way you just said.
Right. No, the information is there, but it's like
hidden.
Right. It's not beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not easy. It's just easy to say, oh, they hated on him, so they killed him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the easy way out.
Easy way out, you know?
The easy way out.
And then if you watch the movie, it kind of, that's how he portrayed it to look like.
If
you know, he showed some little subtle signs where it looked like it could have been some type of, but he kind of went into it. And even when you watch the movie, you see when it got popular, when Malcolm X started to become popular and things like that was around like 94, right? And I was like a little kid. So now I'm saying, like, me looking back at it now, I understood what happened. It was like, at the same time as them bringing that up, it was the same time of Farrakhan's rise.
Yeah.
And they wanted to diminish his rise by putting Malcolm. So now I kill you and then lift you up.
Yeah.
To make you the person. Then I say, well, they did it, so don't mess with Farrakhan. Don't mess with them niggas. It was all at the same time. You know what I'm saying? That's when he just sold out Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
And they was like, hell no, this is out of hand.
You getting too big.
Yeah.
You getting too big.
So,
That was dope. I ain't gonna lie. It really, I love shit like that.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? Like where you get to at least get some. You know how like there's always like unsolved mysteries and shit where you never even get some sort of little detail that will kind of sway you or just make things clear.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of those times just now where those little bits of information, while they may seem small, can answer a whole slew of questions and theories.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, those things are important. I mean, even like when you were saying where Hoover, the information coming out from Hoover came out, and then also the information coming out with the war on drugs, and they were like, it wasn't a war on drugs, like it was the war on black people, like, you know.
Right.
So
You know,
that's really dope,
shit
though.
done by the guy who they said is the black president.
Yeah.
The first black president.
The first black president.
Because he smoked weed and played a saxophone on TV.
Yeah. That shit is crazy, yo. That shit is really crazy. Like, when you really think about it.
Nigga ruined more lives than anybody. Like, ruined more black lives than anyone.
He was dead ass the Antichrist, and people really praised him.
And they still do. And it's crazy. You seen when his wife was running, they asked him about that. Like, yo, you gonna apologize for that? And he was like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah. He's never apologized. Yeah, he's like,
upset and shit.
nah,
You know, like,
fuck that.
yo, this is crazy. It just like I said the same thing. I said the thing about Hillary. I said Hillary tried to kill off Haiti, and then they had Karen Civil run the campaign. That shit is crazy. That's
You don't ever get worried about all these feathers you ruffle with these lines.
You know
I'm starting to worry about you. You taking shots and shit. Like,
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You got music to put out in your career.
Right,
like,
you know,
what's up, man?
Fuck it, man. You know, we just die. You know what I'm saying? I just die a martyr. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I said that because it's like, yo, it's weird. Like, nobody realized, like, yo, she went over there. Her friend got caught for damn near human trafficking.
Yeah.
Then they gave her the job at FEMA. That's reporting for missing children. How the fuck a human trafficker get a job like that at this shit? Like, you just got caught stealing kids.
Yeah.
Politics,
And then it's
man.
like, it's like they gave them billions of dollars to build this shit up. Motherfuckers built a basketball court in a hotel that the people who live there can't even afford to go to, right? And then she comes here and she runs for president and then hires a Haitian woman to run the campaign. That's I was like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What is going on with the world? Like, and then it was like, yo, vote for her. For real?
Vote for her. Go this route.
She was on the run for the she was trying to tear down the whole the healthcare thing. She was like, yo, we need to fix
The
this.
healthcare bill shit.
Yeah.
Remember she was doing that? And then they start paying her. Shit just went out the window. It was like, come on, man.
She just completely stopped talking about
Right,
it.
just didn't even say nothing no more. Shit was over. Like, it's over?
Yo, why do people? This is another thing too. Why is that whenever we are donating money or we are, trying to improve some area, the first thing they do is, let's build a basketball court.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Right.
Like everywhere, it's like,
old
let's
niggas
build a
want to play
basketball court.
ball.
That's it. All niggas want to do is play ball. That's it. That's it.
Better than lives.
Give him some games to play. You see,
Give a little nigga basketball.
Right, give a little right.
Go dribble ball. Maybe you make that NBA.
He'll be fine.
Shut up and dribble. It's just like that. It's weird as fuck.
That shit is weird.
It's weird. It's like, why? Why the fuck is it like that? I don't know.
Fucking music though. Music.
Right.
You clearly are a historian
Right.
across the board. And when I say that, I mean obviously culturally and musically.
Right.
I get money.
Right.
New Jack City theme. Talk to me about that.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Because New Jack City for me, and I'm probably showing my age, is one of my favorite movies.
Right.
For just a number of reasons.
Yeah.
The funny parts. Then there's
the serious
the
joint.
real serious shit that
I
happens.
was just talking to my man about that when he was like, yo, it's bigger than Nino Brown.
Yeah,
He was like,
that's what I'm saying. I said that the other day here, and I was like, if I go, I'm taking everybody with me.
So I ain't the leader of the CMB. It's that brother right there, Kareem Akbar.
He's the real head of the CMB.
the educated brother from the bank.
Yeah, for those that have never seen New Jack City, let me just be clear. New Jack City is a classic urban movie of just the rise and fall. That, for me, that's really like the original Scarface of just a nigga making it, and then he's saying, all right, well, if I gotta go, we all going.
Tell everybody, fuck y'all. That nigga got 1 year and he wasn't good with a silver spoon in my mouth, Miss Hawkins and shit like that, But yeah, that's one of my favorite movies. It's one of my favorite time periods too. I watch. If you look at like Telling Blanco Shinta page on IG, like I just watch it. Look at his, just look at the photos. It's just you could feel the feeling of how the time was. You know what I'm saying? And me being a younger dude, I didn't live and wasn't there. But now me looking back and watching it, you could feel the authenticity of it all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like a thing to see the big truck jewelry, the big gold chains, and you know what I'm saying? And then some of my favorite cars are from that time frame. Like the Turbo Saab and the M3 BMW and all that kind of stuff. So that's just like my favorite time frame. So for the video, I wanted to like capitalize all of that. I wanted to be like New Jack City, King of New York. I wanted all of that feeling paid in full. Yeah. I wanted that type of vibe. So we went to Harlem. We shot it in Harlem. We shot it on the actual block where they did some of the scenes and paid in full.
That's dope.
Oh.
We had we used the drop M3 cherry red joint.
That's
you know
fire.
what I'm saying?
I hope you had the BBSs. I was about to say, I hope you had the BBSs on
it. Gold BBSs on the joint. Yeah, definitely. Hell yeah.
Fire.
Yeah, so that's like my favorite time frame.
That's fire.
That's why I even got the Martin jacket on.
Well, that's
now.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's it.
I really want that jacket.
That jacket's fine.
Yeah, thanks.
I have a question for both of you. What is the most overrated black cult classic movie? And what's also the most underrated one?
Overrated.
Does Black Panther count? Would that?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that counts.
That shit is overrated.
You think so?
Shit sucked.
Whoa! Hold on. When I was feeling you, Manolo. How did you think that movie sucked?
You in the comics? No, comics period. You in the comic
Marvel?
books? Marvel?
Oh, we talking about Marvel on here.
Come on.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right.
We get.
All right,
Come
hold
on, let's talk this. Let's talk this shit.
Now look. Come on. Let's be real. Is that one of the better Marvel movies?
Out of the movies, yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, I would say so.
You think that too? Come on.
I'll say it's up there.
All right. What you think is not better than?
That's not better than?
Yeah.
In what way? Like the storyline?
The storyline was kind of It was a little.
The storyline
It was a little.
wasn't as tight.
It was a little
but
janky. It was a little janky.
A little bit, but I thought they pulled it together rather well.
I hated some of the ending flying scene when the dude was like in the. I hated that part. I was like, yo, what the fuck is that?
You're killing me right now.
Come on, man.
What, were they
Some of that
falling
shit was
and
a
fighting
little-
in the scene?
No, the shit, when he's in the plane and just before he cracked
Okay. Well, every movie's gonna have the one. Every movie's gonna have the one thing.
No.
I'm
And then
thinking-
it was like when they went back to the kid at the end, and he was just staring up. And it was like
some of those scenes. All right.
Oh,
so
man.
some of those scenes
I
for
don't
me
know.
were a little cheesy.
I
didn't like the basketball court scene in the beginning. or
hated
the
that.
end.
Yeah,
I didn't like
I
that.
didn't like that at all.
hated that.
Again, a basketball court.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I hated that. I hated that.
Across the board, though, I thought the storyline was really good. I thought the cinematography was really good.
It had
I
enough.
thought-
It had a balance of action and
yeah,
you know.
I thought it really
story
tied
parts.
in.
And then I don't think it showed his power enough.
Well, that's the other thing too. It wasn't meant to show his
Yeah.
power. That's what a lot of people keep saying.
It was transitional.
It's
It was
correct.
transitional over to the Avengers.
That's what it is. Come
That's what more it
after
was.
this Avengers movie, that's when you will
Yeah.
see the true power of.
Oh, so we didn't get the good one yet.
no, because
no.
also
Okay.
because
So we
also
waiting for that. Okay.
also
Yeah,
a part of
no.
it too.
Well,
Like,
that's a shitty excuse, dog.
well, no, but
Let's go to spade a spade.
lot
It's a
of
shitty
them-
excuse,
but,
man.
Like
That's
even
all
Ant-Man,
movies.
Ant-Man and the Wasp was also another transitional
100%.
movie too,
It
because
was,
in the
it was.
Avengers, Ant-Man wasn't there. They're wondering why. Then you go to Ant-Man and the Wasp, and it starts to talk about the multi-dimensions,
Yeah.
and that's going to play into the next Avengers.
So we're still waiting for that then.
Well, that's gonna come now.
That's
waiting
going
for
to
the
come
good
with
one.
the next
Yeah.
Avengers.
Oh, nah.
All right, now I got to get into what do you think about Avengers?
The movie?
Infinity Stone. Yeah, Infinity Stone. Don't do that. Don't do that.
no.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
He's about to
Don't-
Thanos this
don't-
whole
yeah.
conversation.
Yeah,
Because snap, it's just
don't do that. Manolo, don't do that.
Nah.
Fam.
Nah. See, I fucked with that. I fucked with it. I did. I fucked with it.
Oh, I was about
Come
to
on,
say.
son.
I think Venom
He
was.
pushed
I
Oh,
his
think
own
Venom-
daughter off the cliff.
Yeah, no,
like,
I fucked with it. I fucked with it.
I'm like, fam, he's killing his own daughter. Like,
I think the Venom was crazy.
see, this is where everyone keeps saying it wasn't crazy.
Oh my God!
Everyone
You
keeps
trying to
saying
tell me-
it.
So
I haven't
yo,
se- I
Black
haven't
Panther
seen
was
it
better
yet.
than Venom?
I haven't seen it yet.
Yo.
I haven't seen it yet, so I can't say. I can't
But
say.
I mean, everything.
Yo.
If we're talking about comic book
Yo.
movies in general, everything's better than Batman vs Superman.
Well, yeah.
Oh, hell
yeah. It's over.
Yo, Batman,
It's over.
That was
Batman,
on.
yo,
That was
Batman
on.
is
It's
the
over.
worst. Is the worst. I hate DC comics.
I couldn't finish it. I really couldn't finish it.
DC
Sucks,
has
man.
fucked up some legendary
Yeah, they did.
fucking heroes that you
Yeah.
can never look at least our generation,
Yeah.
can never look at the same way again
Yeah.
just because of the movies.
No,
like,
they-
really
nah,
think
that
about
shit-
it. You don't even look at them like
Yo,
that
man,
no more.
I think they gotta. I don't know. DC gotta figure it out.
I don't
on the
trust
movie, too.
Aquaman. I don't trust
Yeah,
that.
I'm not-
I don't trust that
nah.
movie.
I don't care. You know what was good? I will
Wait, they
say.
doing a movie for Aquaman?
Yeah.
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 Wonder Woman was good though.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman was good.
Wonder Woman was
good.
really,
I
really
fucked with
good.
Wonder Woman. I fucked
Wonder
with
Woman
that.
was good.
I fucked with that.
I've seen the little clips of fucking Aquaman. I'm cool.
Yeah, they keep switching up Batman. We don't know who
there's
the hell's
five
Batman
Batmans.
now.
Like, yeah, you don't know
Five
who Batman
Supermans
is.
now.
That's a
They
fact.
have
Five
no
Jokers,
idea.
like-
I think this last Deadpool joint was crazy too.
So this is my thing.
That shit was hard.
The first Deadpool, I thought, for me, is one of my top Marvel movies.
Yeah.
The second one, I could have done without the first 30 minutes of that movie where you see him still harping on
The death
of
his girl.
and then
Yeah.
still talking shit about
Yeah.
Wolverine. Like, I'm over it, fam. Like, you're running the joke into the ground at this point. Like, I'm cool. After that, great movie.
It was crazy.
Great movie.
I think
Yes.
they should, I think they need to. I think they should get into a lot of those alternative.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
portions of the movie.
Those
Yeah.
other characters, they're
Yeah.
important.
Because
Well, like
you ever
Captain
looked up
Marvel.
who's the strongest? You ever looked up who's the strongest mutant?
Squirrel Girl.
Right. And then, but they also say Deadpool. Because he was able to break through
He
the fourth wall.
Correct.
And he was
Yeah.
trying to kill the writers.
Correct. There's a lot of people.
You know what I'm saying?
There's a
Well,
lot.
They need
Captain
to start
Marvel
doing
too.
it.
Captain Marvel is
Captain
one of the
Marvel.
strongest.
You have-
one
there's a-
above all.
You have a Galactus.
You know what I mean?
You have,
Yeah.
There's a split. It's like
You know what I mean?
what is it, like 12? There's 12 characters in
Yeah.
Marvel that are pretty much untouched.
Untouched.
Yeah.
Untouchable. Well, in terms of
What's the-
strength,
what's the-
right?
what's the- yeah,
Because
what's the kid name? Damn. He's Stretch. I think he's Mr. Fantastic. I think it's his son.
Mr. Fantastic's son.
Yeah.
Nas, you have to notice. You would notice. Mr. Fantastic's
Chris,
son.
can you look that up?
Yeah, somebody look it up
Yeah.
because I can't remember.
What's his name? He's ill too. Cause he
Yeah,
could like switch
yeah.
time back.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, they need to do movies
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, that's what I think.
if they do the joint on cable, that should be fire.
Well, that's what's supposed to happen. That's why this in Avengers 4 is supposed to be so pivotal, and it's supposed to change everything because they're going to introduce a bunch of characters that people aren't really privy to, like the Squirrel Girls of the world, the Captain Marvels of the world. A lot of these big, really strong characters that you probably never heard
You
of.
found his name?
It's just Franklin Richards.
Franklin Richards.
Okay.
And then
He's
on top
ill.
of that, if you go back to, like, I keep going back to Ant-Man and the Wasp because that's a pivotal
It is.
movie for it because the
is.
multi-dimensions.
It is.
Because people think that these characters died.
Yeah.
No. It's going to be going into multi-universes and
realm.
quantum realm with
Yeah,
different dimensions and universes. And we're going to start to see that. So we're
that's
also
dope.
going to...
Yeah,
So they're the ones that disappeared, they're going to be living in another dimension,
Yeah.
but
It's
then we're
like-
going to be introduced to the
It's
other
like,
characters.
It's like
then.
7 dimensions. It's really 7 dimensions when you really dive into that whole world.
And to kind of explain it for people who don't understand what we're talking about, it's kind of like, all right, so we're gonna just talk about comic books in general, right? It's like Spider-Verse, the new Spider-Man movie,
Yep.
where it has the multi-dimensional universes with different Spider-Mans in each one.
Exactly.
That's kind of what's going to be happening for the Avengers, I think. And that's how we're going to get introduced to all these other characters.
That might be dope. If
That's
they do it
exactly
like
what
that,
it
that might
is.
be
That's
dope.
exactly what it is.
That might be dope.
All right. I feel like I know we don't have enough time. I have so many questions now that you said this about fucking Black Panther. I have so many questions.
I don't know. Yeah. Say what you gonna say.
All right, now I'll ask you later. I have to ask you. I'll ask you later.
All right.
Last thing, I guess, before we close, what else can we expect from you? Oh wait, no, I did have a question. I did have one question. I know this is probably not a short question, but I want to ask it.
That's all right. We're running.
Yeah, considering you've been around for quite some time,
Right, a few years.
and you have a different outlook when
Right.
it comes, like even your perspective on talking to the president versus not talking to the president. I thought that was really smart the way you positioned that. If you could talk to any artist right now, and they can be popping or up and coming, and they had an opportunity to go speak to the president, what would you advise them to do?
Go with someone that's educated and well versed in the issues you're going to ask for.
Okay.
So just don't
Don't
send
go up there
Kanye.
biting. Hell no. Hell no, man. You never listen. If I know myself, right? I'm into this. I'm into, just politics and what's going on in the world. But that ain't what I do all day, every day. It's people that's doing that all day, every day. So I'll take somebody with me to say, he gonna talk. I'm gonna just sit here and use my power to get us in the building.
Yeah.
But I want him to speak.
Okay.
He gonna speak to him. You know what I'm saying?
That makes
Because
sense.
I think what happens a lot of times, we get up there and we start yapping off at the mouth, and like Kanye and Trump just looking at you like you're a fool. Like, what are you
Yeah.
Yeah.
talking about? You know what I'm saying?
And not for that, you probably gonna think I'm crazy. I think, like, and we
Showed
said
up
it
shit in his
often on
phone.
this
That was
show.
weird as fuck.
Yeah, well, that was the other weird shit. Damn, I forgot about that. Look at my phone. Poor
Yo,
guy.
his passcode was 000.
Yeah,
Like,
that was the
like, who the hell put their passcode 000?
That was the other thing. Out of
Yeah,
all
boom, boom, boom,
numbers, he was like, I got it. Hold on, damn, really? Like, that's your top secret code to your phone? Like, what's happening right now? Like, why? All right, I'm praying for Kanye. Listen, my only
That was weird.
my only thing is when you do it, and I think that that's a really good point. And we've said this often on the show. Kanye makes really good points, but then he just contradicts them. I don't think he has
Oh
a
my
good.
God.
It doesn't have a good, clear line of
I think
what
he
it is.
I don't think he know where he stands.
Yeah, and I think that that's why.
I think he's confused about where he
Yeah,
stands.
yeah,
because
I think so.
One day he's one way, the next day he's another. I think he's confused.
Yeah,
He's confused. It's hard though. It's extremely hard to be so far removed from something, but still aware of it at the same time. You know, it's like when you walk around and you have somebody like Lil Wayne, like, I don't see any racism.
yeah,
Cop saved me when I was a child. So I don't see. So you just gonna discredit all of these people who just got killed? Like,
It's
you didn't
certain-
see none
yeah.
of that?
Yeah.
But did he? Might not. He in the hills.
But this is
Skateboarding.
But this is my only thing, and a lot of
you know what I mean?
a lot of people say
That's
that.
hard to be like.
In this day and age, we just talked about it. In this day and age, it's very hard to not see what's going on, to not be aware No,
Yeah.
like it's difficult
No, you're aware.
to turn a cheek and be like, oh, I don't know about those issues.
Right, you're aware,
I don't know
but you're
about
not,
that's happening.
You're aware, but you're at the point, damn near at the point where, he's not getting that same treatment no more.
What do you mean? Who? Kanye?
Meaning like Kanye, the Lil Wayne.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, yeah.
So
yeah.
you so far removed, and it's from you.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost as if it ain't happening.
Yeah, it's like the cops
Yeah.
You know what
and
I'm
all these
saying?
people are treating you
It's like
really good.
I live on the hill, and your house is down there. I don't even know what's going on with what you got dealing with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, that makes
Them
sense.
niggas don't know what's going on no more. They just out of the world. They out of touch with reality and what's
In
happening.
Calabasas.
Yeah.
Right, Calabasas, recording music.
That's that whole status shit, though, when you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
you know, it's classism. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So, I mean, I guess before we get out, what else can we expect from you?
Well, yeah. So we finishing up this project.
When does that drop?
We're trying to figure out a date because I kind of like. It's still like maybe a record or two that I kind of want to record or whatever and finish up. And once I do that, then I can, really start to pick out the dates and stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay.
So so it's pretty much it's done. So we're gonna have some of the things that we spoken of today. It's gonna be on there as well because it's certain portions and aspects of myself that I feel like it doesn't get highlighted enough. You know, and everybody, you just look at the some of the singles and stuff like that, but it's so many layers and things that I can delve into and go into. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I'm like one of the most streetest, nerdest guys ever.
Well, I
You know
get
what I'm
that
saying?
because we just had
Ain't
a whole
nothing wrong with that.
That's what I'm saying. We
know
had
what I mean?
for the listeners,
saying?
or even if you're catching this in the middle,
Right.
we had a whole conversation about just the Muslims and Islam. Then
Right.
it went from that to comic books.
Right.
It went from that to just nerd geek shit because we
Right,
all
right.
nerds. I think everybody on the low are nerds and geeks. It'd just be scared to show it though. I really do.
I don't
think
know. Everyone?
To a certain extent. Because thinking of it from like
Everyone
a
grew up on
foundational.
comic books. Really think about it.
Everyone grew up on fighting games, video games, like
Street Fighter,
Sonic,
Sonic. Everyone has done
Super
this.
Mario.
I don't think playing the game is the nerd part. I think the nerd part is going to read the bio of Ken.
Well,
That's
yeah.
the nerd part. That's the nerd part. Now, if you went and read the bio and said, oh shit, him and Ryu had the same trainer.
If a nigga is
you a nerd.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. If a nigga is reading the bio and
Right.
you knew where Ken and
Right.
Ryu grew up,
Right.
you're a different type of nerd. I don't want no
But
smoke.
listen though. I just came from Red Bull's street fighting and fighting competition. Like, yo, for them to they are able to break down even like the certain moves and know like, okay,
Yes.
like if this
Right.
character is slower, but their hits are like a higher percentage, so
Right.
I'll go with a player that has like a higher combo range.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
right,
like,
right.
yo, they literally break this shit down.
So
It's-
science.
That's
Now,
a different-
It was
Yeah.
impressive.
Now, that's what I'm saying.
It was
That's some
impressive.
nerd
All right,
shit.
I'm rolling.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not that type of
I'm
nerd.
not
I'm
that
not
type
reading
of nerd,
bios, my
right.
nigga.
I don't know what
I can't
Ken
No
was
cosplay?
trained with.
No cosplay?
How did Blanca get turned into
Yeah,
to the
I
end?
don't know.
I don't
Yeah,
know. Like,
I don't
what
know.
happened?
I don't know.
Why is he in Brazil?
Yeah,
Shit like that.
dead ass. Though. I don't know none of that shit. Would you really put it like that? Like, yeah, I'm really
That's
not a
some nerd
nerd.
shit,
Oh yeah,
right,
yeah, I'm not a
you know.
nerd. I just like shit.
Yeah,
I just like shit.
right. I like
Yeah.
Nah, you
shit.
definitely nerd.
No, I'm not
Y'all-
that
you
type
too,
of nerd.
definitely.
I'm not that.
Oh, man.
I'm not that type of nerd. I don't know bio. Like, I can't tell you where Ryu was raised. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
See?
you're
See you.
you're
Nas
fucking
is
nerd.
definitely nerd.
Fucking nerd. Oh man! All right, we about to get out of here. Thank you, man.
Yo,
this
for
was
real.
this was really a great
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah,
It really,
same
really
here,
was.
same here.
Really, really was.
The best podcast I've ever been to, man.
Oh, man.
Hey, you heard that straight from the man himself.
Talk
That's a
your
fact.
shit, man. Tell him again, man.
But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely know. Before we get out of here, I just want to say, follow me on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna follow you.
MANOLO _ROSE. So you same thing on Twitter and on Facebook, no underscore, just Manolo Rose by itself.
Definitely. I'm
But
gonna
yeah, make sure
follow
you
you.
follow me.
And I'm gonna talk shit and DM you about
Right.
all of Marble shit.
Yo, please do. Please do.
Yeah, so definitely follow him. And as always, check us out, Grassroots Pod on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. As always, you'll be able to see this video up soon, like we always do. We drop it every 4 o'clock the same day. Also, in the description, join the group chat. We're going to be talking about this episode and just all of the nerd shit that we normally talk about.
Yep.
And let us know your favorite parts. And I guess that's it, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I'm Brandon Killabh Hall.
I'm Erin Ashley Simon, and we have our special guest,
Manolo Rose, the God.
The God.
God. And we out.
We out.
Grassroots.